Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Becky, and I'm coming to you from Through the Maze. Through the Maze is a skill building program based in resiliency that was delivered via text message. We've taken the next 7 weeks to teach you the 7 C's, the C's that we believe contribute to successful, resilient people. Don't worry, I won't be your host each week. We've all had opportunity, all of the mentors and all of the members of the TTM crew, to pick what we see as important and how it applies and how we teach it. Somehow, I got caught with control. That's my lesson today. Control in the middle of a pandemic, where it feels like most times the only thing I have control over is what color mask I'm going to wear, if we have enough disinfectant, and did I remember to take my slippers off before I got in the car and put on real shoes today? Seriously though, what we can practice and what we can demonstrate for other people in our lives is controlling what is ours to control and being patient and kind about that which we have no control over. I think it's the serenity prayer set in a very big pandemic and smells like disinfectant and sometimes is muffled by a mask. If we don't remember what the serenity prayer is, let me remind you. What the serenity prayer encourages us to do is to change the things we know we can change. Our choices, our behaviors, our responses to people. And that takes courage. And it also takes real wisdom to know what we can't change and leave that where it is. So, let's talk about control in parenting. I chose control. I chose control because I teach a parenting class, and what I see, what I remember from my own teenhood, is parents struggling with wanting to protect, which is really another way of controlling, demand, and sometimes just downright disrespecting their children and believing that they maybe don't have the ability to control their own behaviors. So, in parenting, we talk a lot about different styles of parenting. One style would be the willingness to make all choices and be the first to pick all consequences, negative and positive. It's kind of an dictatorial style of parenting, and we don't very often think about it, but it's also can be very disrespectful, especially to a teen. When we are dictatorial with our teens, what we're really saying is, I don't have any confidence in your ability to make your own choices, so I'm going to make all your choices for you. And I'm not really too confident in your ability to learn from making your choices. So I'm always going to be the one that decides what the consequence will be. And what happens to a child that's raised with that kind of parenting? Well, often they recreate the same environment because they really do believe that until you have your own house, all rules are mine. Sometimes they really struggle with rebellion because they haven't had the opportunity to establish the boundaries around their own behavior. And we all know that the more we try to control a teen, the more out of control they can become. They can also become more secretive and more angry and more resentful, because really, when we remind our teenagers that we control what they do, what we're really saying is, I don't respect you enough to believe that you can make choices. And nobody likes being disrespected. How about at the other end of the spectrum? The other end of the spectrum is the parent who really does not want to assume any consequences for their youth, and doesn't teach a lot about choices. And then when a choice on their teen's behavior ends up with a consequence, these parents sometimes will protect their teen from that consequence, will make excuses or explain away. And what we don't often remember is that's very disrespectful too. The message they've just sent their youth is, golly, I didn't think you could handle the consequence of your own choices. And a youth who has not had the opportunity to experience their own consequence, positive or negative, will struggle as an adult and making choices and determining, what's next, setting goals, doing the kind of things that successful young adults do. So when we're talking about control in parenting, what we'd like to talk about is how are we including the youth in our world with choices, consequences, positive and negative, and helping them understand who's in control of their choice. See, I told you we'd get back to control. When we understand that we are the ones making the choice, we either earn the positive or earn the negative consequence. We can be very successful because we have some confidence in ourselves. We know that someone believed in us to know that we were able to make a choice and that we could think ahead and think about what consequence we want. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of thoughts. When you're interacting with whoever else is in that basement with you, or at the grocery store behind that mask, remember that if you start off with a respectful and conscientious communication, you're going to get the same back. And when you're at home, when you ask respectfully for people to do things or to stand up to their commitment, they're going to rise to that occasion. And it is our job when we are working with young people, either as a parent or a grandparent or a mentor, It is our job to have confidence in their ability to make a choice. It is our job to remind them that they have chosen a consequence and reinforce that we are confident that they are able to make the choice and deal with the consequence. By doing that, we have the opportunity to see young adults who are not rebellious, who are confident, who know how to make choices, and they will role model that for their friends, they will role model that for their own children, and they will be more successful. So next week, I hope you join us for the next C in our go-round. And when you sit down and talk about this with your housemates, your children, your coworkers, talk about what you have control over and be okay with owning, I hate wearing a mask. I hate smelling like disinfectant. I'm a little bit scared of all of this, and I hate not knowing when it's going to end. And it's amazing how communicating that helps you control your response and helps you open the door for someone else to share what they're probably having the very same feelings about. Stay safe, wash your stinking hands, and remember, we can all get through this. You've got it.